So the aims of the regulator is to really protect English football for the fans. There's four main aims, if you like, of what the regulator is trying to do. The first one is to make sure that we have good owners and custodians in charge of English football clubs. The second one is to maintain good financial stability right the way through the pyramid. The third one is to ensure that fans have an appropriate say in the running of their football club. And then the final one is to try and prevent things like the breakaway European Super League that we saw a couple of years ago. It depends on the club as to what it means. If you're a well-run club that's got good governance and good financial stability, it doesn't mean an awful lot to you at all. Unfortunately, the majority of English football clubs probably don't fall under that category. So what it's going to mean is a review of owners and directors, a review of clubs' finances, perhaps a reining in of spending. And this is really necessary. If we look at the Championship, the league below the Premier League, we often see average spend on wages in that league that are way above 100%, sometimes 107, 110% of revenue just spent on wages. So we haven't even turned on the floodlights or mowed the grass at this point. All we've done is pay wages. This can be as high for some clubs. It has been as high in the past as over 200%. Reading one year had spend on player wages that was 212% of just their revenue. That's all their football revenue, their commercial revenue, and their TV income. So we do see something of a financial mismanagement, if you like, in terms of the long-term viability of clubs. So these plans are to try and rein that in and bring it back to a place where clubs will have a future, where fans can look at their club and see that the club has a strong future ahead. And we're not gambling short-term success versus the long-term success of the football club. And the system at the moment is very much set up to support the interests of owners rather than the interest of fans. It's quite institutionalized in the way that it does that. In my own research, I describe that as a broken social contract. Some clubs letting the fans down in terms of what their end of the bargain is. So the reaction to the introduction of the regulator has really been twofold. There's many people who are welcoming the regulator, and there are many people who are opposing the introduction of the regulator, and it really depends which camp you sit in. I mean, a few years ago when we saw the Finalist review released, it was described by one Premier League chairman as a Maoist approach to the football industry. Now, I certainly wouldn't go that far, but if you are one of the privileged clubs that is earning a lot of revenues from the current status quo, and you are doing well from the current status quo, you probably aren't going to welcome this news. The regulator isn't trying to stop that. It's not trying to stop the entrepreneurship and the commercialism, if you like, that has made the Premier League so successful. It's just trying to sort of balance the playing field in terms of making clubs sustainable so that they're still here in the future. So we don't have a repeat of what's happened at places like Bury, Derby, Macclesfield, to name just a few. Now, if you are a supporter of one of those clubs or one of the lower league clubs that's set to benefit from this, you are probably going to welcome the Finalist review because it will make it so that your club is more sustainable and help to even out that playing field.